In the modern world, envy and falsehood are pervasive forces that can distort our relationships, cloud our judgment, and disrupt our sense of inner peace. Social media, consumerism, and a competitive culture often fuel these emotions, leading individuals to compare themselves to others or adopt misleading personas. Envy, in particular, can trigger feelings of inadequacy, while falsehoods, whether personal or societal, can create confusion and mistrust. As these dynamics play out, the quest for authenticity and emotional clarity becomes ever more vital. Stoicism, a philosophy born in ancient Greece, offers profound insights into how we can navigate these challenges. It teaches us how to recognize and manage destructive emotions like envy and falsehood, emphasizing the importance of internal control over external circumstances. For Stoics, true freedom comes not from external validation or possessions, but from cultivating a virtuous, rational mind that is impervious to negative emotions and illusions. Through Stoic practices, individuals can gain the emotional resilience necessary to foster more genuine relationships, cultivate self-awareness, and rise above the forces that seek to destabilize their inner peace. The Stoic approach to envy and falsehood focuses on understanding the root of these emotions and transforming them into opportunities for growth. By adopting a Stoic mindset, we can better manage envy when it arises, recognizing it as a reflection of our own desires for external approval and focusing on what is within our control. Similarly, Stoicism guides us in confronting falsehoods, whether those we encounter from others or the ones we tell ourselves, by emphasizing the value of truth, virtue, and authenticity in all aspects of life. Stoicism is a philosophical tradition that encourages individuals to prioritize what they can control, namely their thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while accepting the uncontrollable external events and emotions that arise. At the core of Stoicism is the pursuit of virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. A Stoic is someone who strives to act with reason and clarity, free from the tyranny of negative emotions. Prominent Stoic philosophers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca laid the groundwork for understanding human nature and emotion. Epictetus, a former slave, taught that our thoughts shape our reality, and we must focus on mastering them. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, emphasized the importance of introspection and maintaining virtue, even in the face of power and privilege. Seneca, known for his letters and essays, explored how to live a life of purpose while staying grounded in wisdom and ethical principles. Together, these thinkers offer timeless advice for handling the turbulent emotions of envy and the distortions of falsehood. Stoicism is not just a philosophy for philosophers, it's a practical guide to becoming a resilient, authentic individual, capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and composure. This transcript aims to equip the audience with practical tools grounded in Stoic wisdom for recognizing and addressing envy and falsehood in themselves and others. By applying the principles of Stoicism, individuals can learn to rise above the emotional reactions that envy and deceit often provoke, transforming these negative feelings into growth opportunities. In the following sections, we will explore 13 Stoic concepts that directly relate to confronting envy and falsehood. These ideas will help provide clarity on how to develop emotional resilience, build stronger relationships, and live a life grounded in authenticity and virtue. Whether you are struggling with envy, facing dishonesty in your personal life, or seeking a more peaceful existence, the Stoic approach offers powerful guidance for overcoming these obstacles. Envy is an emotion that arises when we feel resentful or jealous of someone else's success, possession, or qualities. It occurs when we perceive that another person has something we desire, whether it be material wealth, recognition, or personal traits like beauty, intelligence, or social status. Unlike jealousy, which often involves a fear of losing something we already possess, such as a relationship, envy focuses on the longing for something someone else has. Jealousy can be tied to specific, tangible things, while envy tends to be broader, encompassing a general dissatisfaction with others' good fortune. The destructive effects of envy are far-reaching, impacting both personal well-being and relationships. Psychologically, envy often leads to negative emotions, such as bitterness, frustration, and low self-esteem. When we compare ourselves to others and feel inadequate in comparison, we can experience feelings of worthlessness, which over time erode our sense of self-worth. Rather than feeling motivated by the success of others, envy causes a spiral of negativity that diminishes our own capacity for happiness. On a relational level, envy can also harm friendships and partnerships. It can create competition where there was once cooperation, causing friction and mistrust. Envious individuals may start to harbor ill will towards those they perceive as superior or successful, which can lead to overt or subtle undermining of others. The psychological and social implications of envy are profound. From a psychological standpoint, envy can trigger stress, anxiety, and even depression. It is tied to unhealthy patterns of comparison, where one's value is measured based on others' achievements or possessions. Socially, envy can foster isolation and alienation as it breeds dissatisfaction with one's own life. The more an individual compares their life to those of others, the more disconnected they may feel from their own authentic sense of self. This cycle can prevent personal growth and happiness, as the focus shifts away from self-improvement and towards resentment or longing for someone else's life. Falsehood, in contrast, is the act of deceiving others or withholding the truth. It can take many forms, including outright lying, omission of important facts, or manipulation of information. Lying is the deliberate presentation of false information with the intent to mislead, while omission refers to the act of leaving out crucial details in order to create a misleading impression. Manipulation involves using deceptive tactics to influence others for personal gain, often by exploiting their emotions or vulnerabilities. People lie or deceive for a variety of reasons. Self-interest is a primary motivator. Individuals may lie to protect their reputation, avoid punishment, or gain advantage over others. Insecurity also plays a role. Those who feel inadequate or fearful of being judged may resort to falsehoods in order to present a more favorable image of themselves. Sometimes deception stems from a desire to fit in or gain approval, especially in social settings where one feels the pressure to conform to certain expectations. In such cases, lies and falsehoods become a way of securing validation or avoiding rejection, often at the expense of personal integrity. The connection between envy and falsehood is strong, as envy frequently leads to deceit. When someone feels envious of another person's success, they may resort to falsehoods to cope with their feelings of inadequacy or to undermine the person they envy. Envy can lead people to craft lies or present false narratives in order to diminish someone else's accomplishments. For example, an envious colleague might downplay the success of a peer, telling others that it was due to luck rather than skill. Alternatively, an individual may lie about their own achievements to seem more successful, hoping to appear superior or to gain the approval they desperately desire. Envy often leads to deceit because it fuels a desire to create an illusion of superiority or to level the playing field. Instead of working on their own growth or acknowledging the success of others, envious individuals may use falsehoods to protect their fragile ego. This creates a toxic dynamic as deceit not only harms relationships but also prevents personal progress. Rather than finding peace or contentment through their own efforts, envious individuals become trapped in a cycle of lies and comparison. Stoicism offers a framework for navigating both envy and falsehood. By emphasizing control over our reactions and thoughts, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our power, our own actions and attitudes, rather than being controlled by external factors such as the success of others. The Stoic view of envy is that it arises from a misguided attachment to external outcomes, which are beyond our control. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius encourage us to shift our focus inward, recognizing that our value comes from virtue and wisdom, not from comparison to others. The Stoic approach to falsehood is rooted in the pursuit of truth and authenticity. The practice of truth-telling is central to Stoic philosophy, as honesty aligns with the cultivation of virtue and integrity. A Stoic seeks to be truthful not only in their words, but also in their actions, recognizing that falsehood erodes both personal character and social trust. By confronting the feelings of envy with rational thought and accepting the truth of our own unique journey, we can resist the urge to deceive and instead cultivate a life of honesty and inner peace. Ultimately, Stoicism offers tools to transform both envy and falsehood into opportunities for growth. Rather than being consumed by envy, we can practice gratitude for what we have, recognize the value of others' successes, and focus on improving ourselves. By embracing truth, we free ourselves from the cycle of deception and live with greater authenticity and clarity. Envy, often a hidden emotion, can sometimes manifest in subtle and insidious ways. One of the most common forms it takes is through barbed compliments, remarks that, on the surface, seem like praise but are actually disguised criticisms. These backhanded or passive-aggressive comments may appear as if they're congratulating someone or offering encouragement, but they often contain underlying negative implications. For instance, someone might say, "It's impressive that you managed to succeed despite your lack of experience," or, "I didn't think you could pull that off, but you did." These comments may appear to be compliments, but they imply doubt, undermine the person's achievement, and often reflect an envious attitude toward their success. The person delivering these remarks may struggle with their own insecurities and feel compelled to diminish the other person's accomplishment in a subtle way to feel better about themselves. The Stoic perspective on praise and criticism offers insight into recognizing and responding to such disguised hostility. Stoics believe that genuine praise should come from a place of virtue, not from an attempt to manipulate or one-up someone else. True praise acknowledges the efforts and virtues that led to success, while backhanded comments often seek to deflect attention from those virtues. Epictetus, for example, would encourage individuals to be mindful of their own responses to such comments, recognizing that the envious behavior of others is outside of our control. We cannot stop others from delivering these disguised criticisms, but we can control how we receive them. Stoicism teaches that, rather than internalizing negative comments, we should evaluate them with reason and not allow them to affect our inner peace. Acknowledging the true value of our achievements and maintaining virtue in the face of such criticisms can help us rise above them and avoid becoming envious ourselves. Another sign of envy in relationships can appear through selective support, friends or acquaintances who are only supportive when it benefits them personally. These people may celebrate your successes, such as a promotion or accomplishment, but when you face struggles, they disappear or offer little to no support. They may seem enthusiastic about your achievements as long as it serves their interests, but when you encounter difficulties, their involvement and concern vanish. This selective approach to support reveals a deeper level of insincerity, as these individuals are only emotionally invested when they perceive a benefit to themselves, such as gaining favor, attention, or social advantage from your success. They may also feel envious of your successes and choose to distance themselves when you're in need, not out of genuine concern, but because they're uncomfortable or resentful of your misfortune. Stoicism teaches that true friendship is grounded in virtue and consistency. A Stoic view of friendship would stress that a friend should be reliable, supportive, and steady, whether one is experiencing success or facing hardship. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, discusses the importance of building relationships based on mutual respect and virtue, rather than opportunistic or self-serving motives. A friend who only celebrates your wins or disappears when you struggle is not embodying the Stoic virtues of justice or consistency. Stoicism would guide us to seek and nurture friendships based on genuine care, where support is not contingent on personal gain, but comes from an authentic desire for mutual growth and well-being. By recognizing the selective nature of certain relationships, we can better evaluate our social connections and protect ourselves from being manipulated by those whose intentions are driven by envy or selfishness. In addition to verbal cues, envy and falsehood can also be detected through nonverbal cues, body language and facial expressions that may contradict the words spoken. The body often betrays a person's true feelings, even when their words say something different. For example, someone might verbally express happiness for your success, but their body language, such as crossed arms, lack of eye contact, or a forced smile, might reveal the discomfort or resentment they feel. Envy can manifest in subtle ways through these nonverbal cues, as the individual struggles to mask their true feelings of inadequacy or jealousy. Similarly, false affection or insincerity can be detected through shifts in posture, facial expressions, or eye movements that don't align with the verbal message. While someone may say they care about you, their body language may indicate a lack of interest or even disdain, signaling that their feelings are less genuine than they may appear. Stoic wisdom offers valuable insight into how we can cultivate emotional intelligence and perception in recognizing such hidden feelings. Marcus Aurelius frequently emphasized the importance of observing human behavior closely, noting that understanding the inner workings of others' emotions can help us navigate relationships with wisdom and clarity. For the Stoic, emotional intelligence is key to managing our interactions with others and discerning when someone is being genuine or deceitful. By paying attention to not only what is said, but how it is said, considering both verbal and nonverbal cues, we can better understand the underlying emotions in social situations. Stoicism encourages us to respond to these cues with reason and patience, recognizing that the envy or falsehood of others is ultimately outside of our control. We can control our reactions, though, and choose to remain unaffected by others' insincerity. Flattery, a common tool for manipulation, is another manifestation of envy or falsehood that requires careful discernment. Flattery involves exaggerated or insincere praise, typically designed to gain favor, influence, or manipulate. While true admiration is grounded in virtue and respect for a person's qualities or actions, flattery is superficial and self-serving. A person who flatters might compliment you excessively or make overly effusive remarks that feel disconnected from reality, like praising you for something trivial or praising you disproportionately in an attempt to win your favor. The intention behind flattery is to secure personal benefit, whether it's gaining your trust, making you feel indebted, or obtaining some form of advantage. In contrast, genuine praise comes from a sincere acknowledgement of someone's merits, efforts, or qualities, without any expectation of return. The Stoic approach to flattery encourages individuals to be humble and self-aware, recognizing that excessive praise, whether directed at us or given to others, should be treated with caution. Seneca, in his writings, stresses the importance of humility and inner virtue over the external praise that often accompanies flattery. For the Stoic, self-awareness and the focus on inner virtues help to guard against becoming overly swayed by flattery or external praise. By cultivating a sense of self that is not dependent on external validation, we can more easily discern when someone is attempting to flatter us and avoid falling into the trap of manipulation. In recognizing envy and falsehood in others, Stoicism encourages us to focus on cultivating our own virtue and inner peace. By understanding the subtle forms that envy and deceit can take in relationships, we can navigate the complexities of social dynamics with clarity and emotional resilience. Through Stoic wisdom, we learn not to be swayed by the envy of others, whether expressed verbally or non-verbally, and to build relationships based on genuine, consistent support grounded in virtue and authenticity. This approach allows us to maintain our emotional well-being, focus on personal growth, and foster more meaningful, honest connections. The Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of recognizing the things we can control and letting go of the things we cannot. This foundational concept is rooted in the distinction between what is within our power, our reactions, emotions, and judgments, and what lies outside of our control, such as the actions of others or the outcomes of situations. In the context of envy and deceit, this concept becomes invaluable. When we are faced with feelings of envy or deceitful behavior from others, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our response to these emotions and actions. In the face of envy, for instance, we can control how we interpret the success or fortune of others. Rather than feeling resentful or inadequate, we can choose to view their success as a reminder to focus on our own growth. When dealing with deceit, we can control our own reaction by choosing not to internalize falsehoods or to retaliate against manipulation. This doesn't mean we become passive in the face of these negative emotions or behaviors, but rather that we engage with them in a way that aligns with our values, maintaining calm and clarity despite the challenges presented by external circumstances. The Stoic principle of detachment from external validation plays a key role here. External validation, seeking approval, praise, or recognition from others, often fuels feelings of envy and insecurity. By focusing on internal clarity and personal integrity, Stoicism teaches us to detach from the need for external affirmation. When we no longer rely on others for validation, the negative emotions that envy and falsehood provoke lose their power over us. Instead of measuring our worth based on external factors, we begin to measure it by our own standards, by how closely our actions align with our virtues, and how consistently we act in accordance with our principles. Stoicism provides numerous tools for developing emotional resilience, tools that are especially effective in protecting us from the corrosive effects of envy and deceit. One of the key practices is negative visualization. This exercise involves imagining the loss of things we value, such as relationships, possessions, or success. While it may initially seem counterintuitive, the purpose of negative visualization is to prepare the mind for potential adversity, thereby reducing its emotional impact. For instance, by regularly contemplating the possibility of losing a job, we may become less attached to the idea of success and more able to cope with the inevitable setbacks that life presents. This practice can be particularly helpful when dealing with envy, as it reminds us that everything we have, whether material possessions, social status, or achievements, is temporary and fleeting. Another valuable Stoic exercise for emotional resilience is journaling. By reflecting daily on our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we can identify moments when envy or deceit might have influenced our reactions. Journaling allows us to recognize patterns in our thinking and provides us with an opportunity to course correct, ensuring that our emotions remain in alignment with our Stoic ideals. Journaling can also serve as a powerful tool for processing interactions with others. When we feel wronged by someone's deceit or envious behavior, writing about it in a journal helps us examine our feelings and develop a rational, reasoned approach to the situation. By consistently practicing journaling, we strengthen our capacity for emotional resilience, gaining greater insight into ourselves and our responses to the world around us. Reason is another key tool in overcoming the emotional triggers of envy and falsehood. The Stoics believe that our emotions, when unchecked, can lead us astray, distorting our perception of reality. Reason provides the antidote to this emotional turbulence. When envy arises, reason helps us recognize that it is a product of our judgments about others' success, not a reflection of any inherent deficiency in ourselves. Similarly, when we encounter falsehoods, reason allows us to assess the situation objectively, without being swept up in emotional reactions or retaliatory impulses. By practicing reason, we cultivate a calm and rational mindset, enabling us to navigate envy and deceit with clarity and composure. The Stoic virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, serve as both a foundation for living a good life and a shield against the destructive influences of envy and falsehood. Wisdom, as the Stoics define it, is the ability to discern what is truly valuable in life and to act accordingly. When we live with wisdom, we recognize that envy is rooted in misguided desires for things that are outside of our control, such as the success or approval of others. Wisdom helps us refocus on what is within our control, our own actions, growth, and responses, allowing us to navigate the world with greater clarity and peace. Courage is the virtue that enables us to face challenges and confront our fears. In the case of envy or deceit, courage allows us to stand firm in the face of negativity, not retreating into bitterness or resentment. It enables us to rise above the actions of others and maintain our integrity, even when those around us may be acting out of jealousy or insincerity. Courage also helps us to confront deceit directly when necessary, choosing to act with honesty and virtue, rather than perpetuating falsehoods or engaging in manipulation.